Hi guys, welcome to our daily encounter. I really love Proverbs chapter 4 and verse 7 where it says, the beginning of wisdom is acquire wisdom. Um, the starting point for wisdom is to just acquire wisdom. And it goes on to say that, this is a desire to acquire. It talks about in verse uh, 8, it says, prize her and she will exalt you. She will honor you if you embrace her. Earlier in verse 6, it says, love her and she will watch over you. Here we see what kind of the structure of the book of Proverbs really coming to light. As we've seen in all of our readings so far, we've seen, for the most part, first, the book of Proverbs teaching us the importance of desiring wisdom. Before we get into all the little proverbs and the different instructions that are given, the specific instructions, just notice how much time the book of Proverbs is spending in just teaching us to desire wisdom. We see it again. We're already into chapter 4, and it's still coming out in our readings to desire, to love, to embrace wisdom, because it's really our desires that drive us to action. We could have all the wisdom in the world. We could have all the understanding and knowledge of the world and understand the ins and outs of everything. But if we don't have the desire to follow after the knowledge that we have or the wisdom that we've gained, it doesn't do us any good, because our desires oftentimes override what we know to be right. We could think about perhaps a bowl of ice cream. I think it's pretty common knowledge that ice cream isn't the healthiest thing to eat. And in our minds, we know that the contents in the ice cream is not healthy. It's not going to be good for our bodies, ultimately. And yet, our desires drive us to eat it anyways. And there's an example where a desire can sometimes override what we know and what we are thinking. And that's true with wisdom. Wisdom doesn't do us any good if we don't have a desire. Desires are strong. Desires, again, move us to action. Think about in James chapter 1, verses 14 and 15. There it says, the way that we fall into sin is first we're led astray by our desires. It's one's own desires that lead them to be trapped and to, fall into sin. It's desires that move us to action. And so here I think it's very appropriate that the book of Proverbs, starts off with giving us or helping us to desire wisdom and to know the importance of desiring wisdom. Our desire for wisdom has to be stronger than our desire for those things that lead us astray. And so it has to be very, very strong, this desire for wisdom. It has to override our desire for money, because oftentimes money leads us astray. If we love it too much, if we make our whole lives about acquiring money and just wanting more stuff and more things of this world, that can lead us astray. 1 Timothy chapter 6 verses 9 and 10 talks about how a lot of people have been led astray by money and basically destroy their lives because of the desire for money. The love of money is the root of all evil, it says. The desire for comfort sometimes can override our desire to do the wise thing, as we basically just decide maybe to do the easy thing, to kind of just write it out and not really do the hard things, the difficult things that are ultimately the wise things to do, the things that will bring the greater good. We'll read about that in Proverbs chapter 10 and verse 5, where it talks about sowing in the summer, working hard, you'll reap a good harvest. But if a person is sleeping through the season of hard work, they're not going to reap the harvest. And that's a very unwise thing to do. And sometimes comfort, just wanting to be comfortable, wanting to take it easy, wanting to take the easy way out, sometimes keeps us from following after wisdom. The desire for approval of other people. In Matthew chapter 5, verses 10 through 12, the Lord talks about how we're blessed if people persecute us, if they speak evil against us, if they slander us. He says, that's what it means to be in the kingdom. And people in the past have also been slandered for their faith. But we're blessed if we do that, because we know that we have a reward in heaven by God. And that's a wise thing to trade the temporary approval of others that will just last for a little while for eternal blessings and the eternal approval of our Heavenly Father. And so sometimes our desire for the approval of others can keep us from doing the wise thing. And so what this shows us is that we have to have a very, very strong desire for wisdom, a desire stronger than the desire for money, stronger than the desire for comfort or for approval, or whatever else you might put on that list. We've got to have a strong desire for wisdom. And I really appreciate just how much time the book of Proverbs is using to help us have a desire for wisdom. It will benefit us in this life. It'll benefit us in the life to come. But it only benefits us if we desire it, and if we let those desires move us to action, to do wise things and to make wise decisions. So these are some things we can reflect on and think about as we do our reading today. With that, guys, I do thank you for watching the video today. Hope you guys have a great day. Love you guys. God bless.